Good morning. Happy Friday. It is Friday. Y'all know that is my favorite day of the week. So I am excited it's Friday. I'm sure you guys are too. I wanted to let you know that I'm actually going to be finishing Gilly today. I know, super exciting. So I am going to, hang on one second. I am going to read the last 2 chapters and finish today. And I will send out the link for the Gilly movie in case your parents want to purchase that. I think it's like $3, $4, $5, I don't know, on Amazon Prime and let you watch it. Otherwise, if we get back to school, I promise you that's the first thing that we will do. All right, let's get to it. We are ending Gilly. All right, this chapter is called She'll Be Riding 6 White Horses When She Comes. So you can see it's in parentheses there. Oh, also, this is written in forms of letters. So you can see how the author used italics here. All right. P.O. Box 33, Jackson, Virginia, December 5th. Dear William Ernest, ha, I bet you thought I'd forget. But don't worry, I wouldn't forget you. I've just been so busy looking after the horses. I've hardly had a minute to myself. I practically fall into bed. I'm so worn out from all the work. Have you ever shoveled horse manure? Just kidding. Actually, it's a lot of fun. We are getting 6 horses ready to race at the Charlestown track soon, so I have to help them train. I am sure one of them, named Clouds of Glory, is going to win. The prize is about $500,000, so we will even be richer when he does. Not that we need the money, being millionaires and all. How is school? I bet you zonked, Miss McNair, with all those new words you learned last month. You should keep practicing by reading out loud to Mr. Randolph. Tell Trotter we have 3 maids and a cook, but the cook isn't half as good as she is, even though she uses a lot of fancy ingredients. Ha, bet you knock Miss McNair over when you read her that word. Right soon, Gilly. P.S. My grandmother told me to call her Nani. Aren't rich people weird? Thompson Park Elementary School, Thompson Park, Maryland, December 7th. So this is Miss Harris is sending a letter to Gilly now. Dear Gilly, if anyone had ever told me how much I would miss having you in my class, I would have never believed it. I hope, however, that you are enjoying your new school and that the people there are enjoying you as well. You might like to know that when I send your records to Virginia, I do not plan to include any samples of your poetry. You will be receiving soon some paperbacks that I've been meaning to lend you. But now that you've left us, I want you to keep them as a souvenir of our days together in Harris 6. I certainly won't forget you, even if you never write, but it would be good to hear how you're doing. Best wishes, Barbara Harris. December 10th. Dear Gilly, how are you? I am fine. I liked your letter. I liked your horses. Write me soon. Love, William Ernest. P.S. Did you win the race? Dear Miss Harris, the book by J.R.R. Tolkien came the day after your letter. Now I know who Gladriel was. Do you think Frodo should keep trying to take back the magic ring? I think it would be better if he kept and took charge of things himself. You know what I mean? Anywho, thanks for the books. They are really exciting. They helped a lot because this school is terrible. Nobody knows anything, including the teachers. I wish I was back in Harris 6. Your former student, Gilly Hopins. P.S. It's okay if you want to call me Gladriel. December 16th. Dear William Ernest, Of course, we won the race. Now we are training for the Kentucky Derby. I guess I will have to miss a lot of school to go to that, but it won't matter. They have already told me that I'll probably skip to ninth grade because I'm so far ahead of all the sixth graders in this dumb school. When you are old enough, I will take you to a horse race. How about that? Tell Trotter and Mr. Randolph hello for me. Are you reading to Mr. Randolph like I told you to? Take care, Gilly. P.S. Why don't you ask Santa to bring you some karate lessons? December 17th. Dear William Ernest, Trotter, and Mr. Randolph, I just wrote William Ernest yesterday, but now I've got some real news. I just heard that my mother is coming on December 23rd. I know that I lie a lot, so you won't believe this, but it's really the truth this time. She's really coming. I hope you all have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Gladriel, Gilly Hopkins. Her mother really was coming. At least Nani, who had talked to her on the telephone while Gilly was at school, believed she was. She was due at Dulles Airport at 11 a.m. on December 23rd. A whole week to wait. Gilly thought she might die waiting. She dulled the agony somewhat by plunging into house cleaning for Nani. Nani was all right. She could still chatter Gilly straight into a pounding headache, but she meant well. And then, whenever Gilly would lose patience with her, she'd remember that first day Nani had taken her into Jackson Elementary School. They had marched right into the principal's office, and Nani had said, Margaret, this is my granddaughter, Gladriel Hopkins. The principal raised her eyebrows. She had obviously known Nani for years, and this was the first mention she ever had of a granddaughter. Your granddaughter? She said, giving Gilly a new blouse and jumper the once over. Hopkins, did you say? You had to hand it to old Nani. She didn't even blink an eye. Yes, I said Hopkins. She's Courtney's child. I see, said the principal. You could practically see the wheels spinning in that prissy head of hers. I see. Hopkins. How do you spell her Christian name? Had she exaggerated Christian ever so slightly? If so, Nani took no notice. Nani spelled out Gladriel as patient as Gilly might have spelled out a hard word for W-E. Her school records will be sent to you directly. She's been in school in Maryland. Maryland? The same tone of voice used earlier for Hopkins. It was a scene that was to repeat itself with variations many times in those first couple of weeks. Hopkins, they always asked. Gladriel, how do you spell that? Maryland, did you say? Gilly had plenty of practice staring down sneers, but it was hard to imagine that someone like Nani had. But Nani looked straight down her short nose at every sneer, and they stopped, at least face-to-face ones. Nani was gustier than she looked. But everything would be all right for both of them now. Courtney was coming. It's silly to be nervous, isn't it? Nani said. She's my own daughter. It's been so long, and she was hardly speaking to her father and me in those days. What will we say to each other? Oh, Nani, if I knew what mothers and daughters said to each other, wouldn't I tell you? How should I know? That's what Gilly was thinking. She'll think I've gotten terribly old. My hair was quite dark when she left. Yeah? She tried to put Courtney's hair on Nani's head. It didn't work. Would you think it's very silly of me to get a hair rinse? A rinse? You know, just to cover a little of the gray. Nani, a Clairol girl? Why not? Let's do it. So when Nani was rinsed and curled, Gilly was cut and blown. You look lovely, my dear. Nani looked totally unnatural, but then Gilly had never seen her with black hair before. Maybe she'd look great to Courtney. You look nice too, she lied. Money, though not as scarce at Trotter's, was hardly in the supply hinted at the letters to W.E. Nevertheless, Nani seemed determined to prepare royally for Courtney's return. They bought a Christmas tree that would touch the high ceiling of the living room and had to hire a neighbor's boy to carry it from the back of the old station wagon into the house and help them set it up. Every ornament they hung had a family history, and Gilly half listened as Nani recounted each tale. She was too excited to concentrate fully, but she did grasp that the lopsided pasteboard star was the one that Chadwell had made in the third grade. Most of the glued-on glitter had long departed. There was a yarn snowman that Courtney had made when a brownie, and it was gray now and beginning to ravel. And there were yards of tattered paper chains. Are you sure you want to put these chains on? Gilly asked Nani. Oh, we have to have the change. We always have the chains. So Gilly glued the chains together as best she could and hung them. The whole effect was appalling, a pile of junk. But then she put on 3 boxes of tinsel, one strand at a time, so the entire tree was under a silver veil. In a dark room with only the Christmas tree lighted, it wasn't bad. Not a department store display, but not bad. Nani slipped her glasses on and off her nose, trying to take in the sight, and finally let them hang on the ribbon around her neck while she clapped her hands like a little girl. I can't remember ever before such a lovely tree, she said. Neither, after she thought about it, could Gilly. December 20th. Dear Gilly, so your mom is coming to see you. You must be real excited. Mr. Randolph, W.E., and me wishes you lots of luck. By the way, William Ernest came home yesterday with a bloody nose. You know me, I'd like to die. But he was prouder than a punch-drunk pickle. Mr. Evans called me to complain about my kid fighting at school, but I took to laughing too hard to finish. What do you think about that? Sincerely, your friend, Mame Trotter. Pow. That's what Gilly thought about that. All right. So that is the end of that chapter. Nani is that's her grandmother. She calls her Nani. That's what she's called. Okay. So this is the last chapter. Homecoming. All right. Remember, we are not commenting on here, just chit-chatting with our friends. If we have a thought about the book, you can write the comment in. That is it. Homecoming. The plane was late. It seemed to Gilly that everything in this world that you can't stand to wait one extra minute for is always late. Her stomach was pretzeled with eagerness and anxiety. She stood sweating in the chill of the huge waiting room, the perspiration pouring down the sleeves of her new blouse. She'd probably ruin it and stink besides. Then suddenly, when she'd almost stopped straining her eyes with looking at it, door opened and people began to come off the motor lounge into the airport. All kinds of people, all sizes, all colors, and all of them rushing. Many looking about for family or friends, finding them with little cries of joy and hugs. Tired, fussy babies, children dragging on their mothers, businessmen with their heads down, swinging neat, thin leather briefcases, grandparents with shopping bags of Christmas presents. But there was no Courtney. The pretzel turned to stone. It was all a lie. She would never come. The door blurred and Gilly wanted to leave. She didn't want to cry in that stupid airport. But just at that moment, she heard Nani say in a quavering voice, Courtney? Hello, Nani. But this person wasn't Courtney. It couldn't be Courtney. Courtney was tall and willowy and gorgeous. The woman who stood before them was no taller than Nani, just as plump, although she wore a long cape, so it was hard to make out her real shape. Her hair was long, but it was dull and stringy, a dark version of Agnes Stokes's, which always needed washing. A flower child gone to seed. Gilly immediately pushed aside the disloyal thought. Nani had sort of put her hand on the younger woman's arm in a timid embrace, but there was a huge embroidered shoulder bag between the two of them. This is Gladriel, Courtney. So the person that's Gilly is seeing, that's never how she envisioned Courtney to look. Okay, Courtney's short, she's a little plump, her hair is kind of stringy and looks like it needs to be washed. For a second, the smile on the one engraved in Gilly's soul flashed out. The teeth were perfect. She was face to face with Courtney Rutherford Hopkins. She could no longer doubt it. Hi. The word almost didn't come out. She wondered what she was supposed to do. Should she hug her mom? Should she kiss her? At this point, Courtney hugged Gilly, pressing the huge bag that was between them into Gilly's stomach and saying across her shoulder to Nani, She's as tall as I am, sounding as though Gilly weren't even there. She's a lovely girl, said Nani. Well, of course she is. Courtney stepped back and smiled, her gorgeous, heart-shattering smile. She's mine. I mean, isn't she? Nani smiled back rather more weakly than her daughter had. Maybe we should get your luggage. I've got it, said Courtney, slapping her shoulder bag. It's all right here. Nani looked a little as though she'd been smacked in the face, but she began and stopped. How many clothes can you wear for 2 days? 2 days? Then Courtney had come to get her after all. I told you on the phone I was coming home for Christmas and to see for myself how the kid was doing. But, Courtney, when I sent you the money, Courtney's face was hard and set with lines between the brows. Look, I came, didn't I? Don't start pushing me before I'm hardly off the plane. My God, I've been gone 13 years and you still think you can tell me what to do. She slung the bag behind her back. Let's get out of here. Nani shot Gilly a look of pain. Courtney, she hadn't come because she wanted to. She came because Nani paid her to, and she wasn't going to stay, and she wasn't going to take Gilly back with her. I will always love you. That was a lie. Gilly had thrown away her whole life for a stinking lie. I got to go to the bathroom, Gilly said to Nani. She prayed they wouldn't follow her there because the first thing she was going to do was vomit, and the second thing was run away. She tried to vomit, but nothing happened. She was still shaking from the effort when she dropped her coins in the pay telephone beside the restroom and dialed. It rang 4 times. Hello? Trotter, it's me, Gilly. God, don't let me break down like a baby. Gilly, honey, where are you? Nowhere. It doesn't matter. I'm coming home. She could hear Trotter's heavy breathing at the other end of the line. What's the matter, baby? Your mom didn't show? No, she came. Oh, my poor baby. Gilly was crying now. She couldn't help herself. Trotter, it's all wrong. Nothing turned out the way it was supposed to. How do you mean supposed to, honey? Life ain't supposed to be nothing, except maybe tough. But I always thought that when my mother came, my sweet baby, ain't no one ever told you yet? I reckon I thought you had it all figured out. What? All that stuff about happy endings is lies. The only ending in this world is death. Now, that might or might not be happy, but either way, you ain't ready to die, are you? Trotter, I'm not talking about dying. I'm talking about coming home. But Trotter seemed to ignore her. Sometimes in this world, things come easy, and you tend to lean back and say, well, finally, a happy ending. This is the way things supposed to be, like life owed you good things. Trotter, and then there's lots of good things, baby, like you coming to be here with us this fall. But that was a mighty good thing for me and William Ernest. But you just fool yourself if you expect good things all the time. They ain't what's regular. Don't nobody owe them to you. If life is so bad, how come you're so happy? Did I say bad? I said it was tough. Nothing to make you happy like doing good on a tough job now, is there? Trotter, stop preaching at me. I want to come home. You are home, baby. Your grandma is your home. I want to be with you and William Ernest and Mr. Randolph. And leave her all alone? Could you do that? Damn it, Trotter, don't try to make me a stinking Christian. I wouldn't try to make nothing out of you. There was a quiet at the other end of the line. Me, William Ernest, and Mr. Randolph, we like you the way you are. Go to hell, Trotter, Gilly said. A sigh. Well, I don't know about that. I planned on setting permanently somewhere else. Trotter, she couldn't push the word hard enough to let the squeak out. I love you. I know, baby. I love you too. She put the phone gently on the hook and went back into the bathroom. There, she blew her nose on toilet tissue and washed her face. By the time she got back to an impatient Courtney and a stricken Nani, she had herself well under control. Sorry to make you wait, Billy said, but I'm ready to go home now. No clouds of glory, perhaps, but Trotter would be proud. And that's it. That is the end of the Great Gilly Hopins. So I am going to send you a link for a Zoom conference in your Canvas inbox. Okay, I'll see you in a little bit. Bye.